I'm here with Anna of Exit Eden to talk about their latest record, Femme Fatale. Came out January 12th on Napalm Records. Thank you very much for taking the time. How's things going with you?
Really good. It's super excited, I'm super excited and it's super exciting. It's been so long since the first record, and it's amazing that we can finally share the second one with everybody. I still can't believe it.
So now it's been a few weeks since the album came out. What's the feedback been like? What have you been hearing?
Super good. Yeah. I mean, even the first singles dropped and people were like, yeah, Exit Eden is back. And very, very positive feedback. Yeah, I was amazed by that. And also the reactions to the record are very, very good. I didn't ask yet, like, what are the favorite songs? I'm really curious about that, but definitely super positive feedback.
Was it a difficult transition in maybe creatively going from a foursome to a threesome?
Yes, I mean, it was sad because we really love Amanda and she's such a great person and also vocalist. But of course, I mean, we had four female singers. You normal bands just have one. This is like, this is like already four times as much. And having only three different styles of vocals to be able to like have in these certain songs and in the parts, it's special and diverse enough, in my opinion. There's still kind of, you can hear Marina a lot, you can hear Clemmy a lot, and me a lot, and it's like still you have to divide a song by three, you know what I mean? And of course, if you have to divide it by four, it's less time for the individual singers. So it also has some advantages.
So at what point did you guys decided that okay, we still going to do some covers, but we also going to have some original material? At what point in the process did that light bulb go off?
It was actually right after the first record that at least I thought I would love to have some original songs on this next record if there'll ever be one. In 2019, Marina and I already like bounced back and forth some ideas. It was quite hard because we only had the covers as a reference. So it was kind of, in what direction will this go? How is this gonna, it was interesting to start with the original ideas, but the decision of having also covers, because that's kind of where we come from, having covers and original songs, I think that's the perfect decision for this second record.
You almost had to have some covers based on what you guys did with the debut album. I mean, I think there would have been riots, or at least people would have been completely shocked if there's not like any covers on the record. Did that put you guys in a way, pressure you guys in a way to say that okay, we still have to connect with the debut album and have some covers, and then introduce some original material, because now it opens the door for a possible third record of just 100% original material.
Yeah, I think the covers will always be a part of us. I think even if it's just going to be a few covers on the next record, I don't even know yet. But I think the way we started as being, oh, did you hear this band? They're covering all sorts of music in the symphonic metal style. This is going to be a part of us, and I think we're not going to totally push it away. That would be my feeling about the future.
I find it really interesting because a lot of bands look at covers as a bad word. Like I don't want to do any covers. We have our own material. Covers is seen like this bastard child that nobody wants to deal with. And nothing against bastard children, but just that's how bands treat it for most of the time. You guys completely embraced it. What do you see of positive when it comes for a time for a band to decide to do a cover?
Um, I think a cover is the easier way to be perfectly honest. I mean, you have writing an original song is is hard work. I mean, it's very, very fulfilling and it's beautiful, but still it's something you need to write a good piece of music before you think of producing, arranging, recording vocals, recording instruments. So I think of course it's not easy to make a really, really good cover of something, but it's also not easy to make a good version of an original song. So that difficultness is there on both sides. And a cover, yeah, it has its own difficulties because you have to compete with other cover versions. We don't want to compete with the original, but we want to keep the core and, you know, the heart of the original. So how much can you change the song to still tribute to the original, but also make your own original version from this cover song? It's yeah, it's both. Both is not easy, and it also always depends on the song. Do you feel the vibe? Do you kind of know how to work and arrange that cover version? And yeah, I think that's the most important thing, to kind of listen to your heart and to your feeling and to jump on that ship.
When you guys are looking at possible cover songs for this record, do all the covers that we get to hear on this album the ones that you guys originally had in mind, or there were some that you guys had in mind, but for one reason or another it didn't work and you guys kind of had to scrape them out?
We actually are lucky enough that this didn't happen. Well, no, it's not only luckiness. Our producer, we work with Hannes Braun, and he's a really great musician, and he helped us choose or decide the final songs we covered in the end. And he really has the imagination of feeling. I can imagine this to be. It all happens in his head, and the production is done already in his head, so he kind of knows what. Of course it also can change, and we tried out a lot, just like in the studio. Hey, I'll try this, I'll try that, you know. But it's great to work with someone who kind of makes up his mind before he lets the musicians sing their part in the final version, because it can be super frustrating being in the studio and singing something and giving it all, and then it's not gonna work for the record, or you're not sure if all the time and energy you put into it will pay off. And I love working with people who make up their minds before it goes out there.
When you guys were thinking of a name for a title of the album, the femme fatale. By the way, I love the title of the record. I think it fits you guys perfectly. Were you guys inspired by the fact that you are some three femme fatales, or was there something beyond that?
To be honest, we actually femme fatale, the first original, the last single we released was the first original song we finished. So it was like this kind of was the sign, or I don't know,
The
leading us
catalyst.
exactly. It was like, this is where it's gonna go. And then why not this be the theme of the whole album? And talking to the girls, and Marina had a bunch of ideas from like art and movie, and you know, the mind just like was put on, and ideas were like flowing, and every one of us has their own visual femme fatale, and every woman out there does. And being a three-piece female fronted project is like, oh, it just all was like, yeah, it's all just feels so good and right.
And I love the artwork because you guys also played on that whole femme fatale artwork in terms of how the album cover comes across, the way you guys are dressed. There's a little bit of a throwback feel to the way it's coming together, almost like you guys were a female James Bond, if you will, to a certain extent. I really like how that played out. Did you guys think about that as well? Like you wanted to the title of the record to really encompass the whole record, including the artwork?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And even more, we even chose the covers to fit this theme in the end. I mean, having songs like Poison or It's a Sin, it all has this seductive, dangerous vibe, and you can interpret this femme fatale feeling into all these songs. So this yeah, this all really worked out.
Did you guys consider taking even a step further and having all the covers being from female vocalists? Did you guys think about that, or that didn't cross your mind?
Not really. To be honest, I think it's really interesting to sing these, to have original songs sung by male vocalists, because that's like a first difference, you know? It's like having a song. I'm being attacked by a fly. Um, a song like it's if you're used to having a male voice on that, and then you have a female singing it, and even another female, and that's kind of one of the, I mean, I like, that's one of the things I kind of like in changing covers, in changing original songs to cover versions, to have it sung by a different
Yeah, that's the first wrinkle, if you will, that you guys throw into the song right away. You
exactly.
guys released the single for "Run" with Marco. How many mountains did you guys have to climb to get a hold of him and convince him to come and join you guys on that song? That because I feel like the impact of that single was tremendous.
Absolutely. And this is one of those beautiful things with not planning things from the beginning, because actually the song wasn't planned with being a feature with anyone. We actually recorded the song with the three of us having their parts. And when I recorded this "Rush Get Away" part, we had written it fairly new, and then our producer said, "Hey, why don't you sing it the way Marco Hietala used to sing it with when Nightwish, when he has, you know?" And then it was the first time we actually had this thing in mind, the voice of Marco in our minds, and also the idea of why not asking him exactly for this part. And of course, he sang more than only this part, because I mean, and it's amazing. I mean, it was great. It always shows me to reach for the stars. It was an idea, and it was not like it's an idea, well, it's never going to happen. No, it was an idea. We tried to make it happen. Our producer talked to Napalm talked to Marco, and there he was, shooting the video with us and being totally dedicated and kneeling in the sand, and he had fun. I mean, we it was a really great day, and
It looks like all of you had a lot of fun in that video because it came across in the music video that everybody was having a great time.
it was, and he's such an amazing, laid back, super nice person. You know, I was like, yeah, wonderful experience.
You mentioned about earlier on, it's difficult to find room for four, a little bit easier to find room for three vocalists. But how do you guys work that process? Is it an organic process in terms of, okay, you go in now, I go in later? Because it's still three vocalists, three very different vocalists.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it helps a lot that we really, really love each other. I mean, Marina and Clemmy, they're so close to me since, we met 8 years ago and didn't know each other at all. And then through this time meeting up, just getting together, phoning a lot, it's like, it's a friendship. It's a real friendship. And if I don't care if I sing or Clemmy or Marina, because it's just all good, you know? So, in the end, it's also cool to have a producer who knows us from our other bands. Hannes has worked with Phantom Elite, with Marina's band. He's written for Visions of Atlantis, and of course, he worked with me in League of Distortion. And that's why you have like someone from the side, not being in the group, but also knowing us individually, and also just wanting the best for the project. And this really helps, because it's not one of us saying, "Hey, why not I sing that part and you sing this?" But it's like someone from the outside, kind of still the inner circle, but having the ideas, and then we were able to try things out. And to be honest, there was nothing where I would say, "Oh, I think this didn't, we should have changed that here or there." I'm just super, super happy with the result.
What do you find about your own vocal characteristics that suits this project really well?
Uh, that's a hard question. Yeah, I mean, in the first record from the from Exit Eden, for example, I just had like really small parts and just like highlighting this and screaming here or having this verse or this and that, which was because it was the different voice, the rockier voice. And now for this record, I of course still have my screams and have my rockiness to show, but also there were some softer parts where I also showed a different part of my voice. So it all kind of, yeah, it all kinds of melts together really nice.
Do you feel like this group offers you something very unique that allows you to stay motivated to continue to make music with Exit Eden?
Absolutely, especially the friendship, especially just like wanting to meet up with the girls, wanting to have like Zoom meetings and talking about ideas. And this is the most wonderful part of this project, in my opinion.
You
And
oh, sorry, go ahead, sorry.
And the other thing is actually for me, Exit Eden kind of brought me into the metal scene, or that's the kind of the feeling. It didn't bring me there, but it made me stay. It made me feel so welcome when that record came out in 2017. And this is also, I can't let go things like that. It's I have like a dedication and I have like thankfulness to just to the band. And this is always also something I'm really cherishing.
You mentioned earlier in our conversation about favorite songs that you're interested to see what's going to be people's favorite songs, but what are your favorite songs on this record?
Yeah, it's super hard. It's super hard to decide because they're so different, you know? Like from the cover versions, I really love It's a Sin. I love that version with all of our parts and this differentness. I also kind of dig Kaylee. That's always a song when I listen to it, I'm like, this one turned out really well. Oh, yeah, it's hard to like have one favorite. I love Buried in the Past. I also love the singles Run and Femme Fatale, but yeah, they're also very different. And someday I love this one more, and someday I love that one more.
I thought was really interesting with "It's a Sin" because that song has been covered like by everybody. Like Ghost is covered. I don't know who hasn't covered that song. I feel like everybody's covered that song at some point in time. But you guys still were able to do it in a way that we hadn't heard before. When you approach, one thing is to approach a song that not a lot of people have covered, and the other thing is to approach a song that everybody has covered. Is it a little bit more difficult, a little bit more challenging when you take on a song like "It's a Sin"?
Absolutely. It's easier if you have a song that hasn't been covered that often because you don't you just have the original to
Yeah.
compete with. I mean, just but of course, if you have this version and this version, I think to be honest, first we kind of made up or put down our ideas which song could work, and then once you kind of put your emphasis on the idea, there's been so many cover versions of this song, but still the idea has grown so much already in your mind that was like, yeah, we'll make it work.
Yeah, you'll find a way. You'll find a way. Do you to do a cover? Do you have to be a fan of the original, or can you approach creating a cover without necessarily being a huge fan of the original?
I think you don't have to be a fan. I mean, it helps if you don't hate the song.
Yeah, I think that's a huge help. That's a huge help.
That might help. But yeah, I think some songs are so different in the cover version. Like recently in an interview, someone even said like from the first record that he listened to Unfaithful by Rihanna, but had our song in the back of his mind, and it was like, this song, I like your version better, you know? So I think if you make your own version of a song, you don't necessarily have to love the original.
But it definitely helps. It definitely helps. One last question for you. You guys released your second record. This album now has that mixture of original and covers. Uh, how do you look down the road in terms of what the year will bring? Are you guys planning on taking now a band that is not just a cover band, a band that now has their own material and play some live shows and perhaps do a little bit of touring? Like, what do you guys have in mind for 2024?
I'm I can't share a lot about that. Unfortunately, there's not it's been, we didn't know how this all was gonna turn out. We didn't know after not being there at all for like 7 years and then showing up, hey, we're back, how people would really react to this, if the interest is still there, if it's not, if it's changed, if people love our original songs or not. So it was kind of, we were kind of observing and waiting. And of course, now that the reactions are so great, we're like, yeah, let's tour, let's plan something. But then again, the big question is, where do we even start touring? Do we start in Europe? Do we do only Germany, or do we go to straight to the US? It's there's so many big questions that we don't know the answers yet. So we'll have to be a little patient and work with our team and work something out. And I hope so much that we will be able to announce tour and live dates very soon.
Well, I can tell you that the reception to the record has been great. Everybody loves the original material, so I think this, if anything, it gives you guys something to think about in terms of what you guys can do in the future. It's better to have a lot doors opening for you guys versus not having any doors at all. So I think this is a good problem to have.
You're right. You're actually right.
So you got to always look at things as the glass is half full, never as the glass is half empty. I think overall, it's a good way to live your life by. Always look at the positive side of things.
Absolutely. I try to do that. Doesn't always work, but I definitely try.
Especially when the flies are attacking you. It's
Yes,
kind of hard to keep a
exactly.
positive. It's hard to keep a positive outlook on life when flies are attacking you. So I feel your pain.
But I would say my glass is half full when I look at
I
my
think technically it is half full. I mean, from what I can see, in this case, your glass is technically half full. You're correct. You're correct. And thank you very much for your time. It was an absolute pleasure. I hope you guys release more music so we get to talk again, because this was a blast. I had a great time talking to you about the album. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. It was really great talking to you. Yeah, and maybe we'll meet up next time talking about League of Distortion.
Yes, yes, that would be great as well. Pleasure meeting you and pleasure talking to you. All the best.
Sounds great. To you too. Take care.
Take care. Bye.